Have you ever wondered how a doctor knows exactly where to look when you just have this vague pain somewhere in your middle? Well, I can tell you, they're not guessing. They're using a map, kind of like an internal GPS for your body. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how medical professionals navigate the pretty complex landscape inside all of us.
You know the drill. We've all been there. You point to your belly and say, "Ugh, it hurts right here." But think about it. That's a huge area. Your stomach could mean your actual stomach, sure, but it could also be your intestines, your liver, your appendix. I mean, the list goes on and on. And that ambiguity right there is exactly why a much more precise system is so important.
So, the territory we're going to be mapping today is called the abdominopelvic cavity. The easiest way to think of it is as this one big container that holds most of your vital, digestive, and reproductive organs. To really understand what's going on inside, we first need to draw some boundaries on our map. Okay, so the first and most common mapping system is actually wonderfully simple. It's the 4-quadrant map, and it's absolutely perfect for a quick general assessment. Let's take a look at how it works.
It really is as easy as this. Just imagine drawing a big plus sign directly over the belly button, or the umbilicus if you want to be technical. One line straight down and one line straight across. And that's it. You've just divided this whole complex region into 4 easy-to-manage sections or quadrants.
And just like that, with 2 simple lines, everything suddenly becomes so much clearer. That vague pain, it isn't so vague anymore. If there's pain in the right upper quadrant, a doctor immediately starts thinking about the liver or gallbladder. And that sharp pain down in the right lower quadrant, well, that's the classic neighborhood for the appendix. This simple visual grid is just incredibly powerful.
So, the 4-quadrant system is fantastic for a quick overview, right? But sometimes a doctor needs to be even more specific. For that, they need a map with a lot more detail. So let's upgrade from that simple plus sign to a much more precise grid.
All right, welcome to the 9-region system. You can think of this as the high-definition map. It's used when precision is absolutely critical for diagnosis and for treatment.
Now, instead of just one line each way, this system uses 2 vertical and 2 horizontal lines. And what you get is a grid that looks just like a tic-tac-toe board laid right over the abdomen, creating 9 very specific regions.
And here they are. Now, I know the names might sound a little complex, hypochondriac, lumbar, iliac, but they're really just precise anatomical addresses. A great place to start is that central column. You've got the epigastric region up top, the umbilical region right in the middle around the navel, and the hypogastric region down below. Let's break this grid down row by row, starting at the top. Over on the right, the large right hypochondriac region is dominated by the liver. Dead center, in the epigastric region, you'll find parts of the stomach and pancreas. Think heartburn. And then over on the left, tucked away in the left hypochondriac region, is the spleen.
Okay, moving down to the middle row, that central umbilical region is just packed with the winding small intestine. On either side of it are the lumbar regions, which contain the colon as it travels up or ascends on the right, and then heads down or descends on the left. And tucked just behind all that, you'll find the kidneys.
And finally, down in the bottom row, we can get even more specific. See that right iliac region? Well, that's the precise address for the appendix, and the cecum, which is this little pouch where the large intestine begins. In the middle, the hypogastric region houses the bladder, and then the left iliac region contains the sigmoid colon. That's the final S-shaped part before the end of the line.
Okay, so we've learned 2 different mapping systems. But why is this so important in the real world? I mean, so what? Well, this is where theory becomes practice, and, honestly, where it can even save lives. I mean, think about what this means in an emergency room. A patient comes in and describes pain in their right lower quadrant. That one phrase gives a doctor a huge head start. It immediately narrows down all the possibilities and raises a red flag for something serious, like appendicitis. That prompts very specific tests and a potential emergency response.
Ultimately, that's what these maps are all about. They provide a shared, universal language for medicine. A doctor in one hospital can tell a surgeon in another that there's a mass in the left upper quadrant, and that surgeon knows exactly where to look, near the stomach and spleen. It just eliminates all the guesswork. It standardizes communication, and it makes sure everyone is on the same page, which saves precious time and improves patient care.
Before we finish, there's one more layer to this whole idea of a universal map that I found pretty fascinating and just had to share with you.
Here are some of the key terms we've been using, along with their translations in Urdu.
It's just a great reminder that this knowledge, this whole language of anatomy, is truly global. It's shared by medical professionals all over the world to help care for their patients.
And this kind of leaves us with a final thought. We've just explored these invisible maps that doctors use to navigate the human body. And it makes you wonder, right? What other invisible maps, social ones, emotional ones, or intellectual ones, do we all use every single day to make sense of and navigate our pretty complex world?